Some of the greatest songs ever recorded never got the recognition they deserved.
This means nothing to me.
Timing, poor promotion, and sheer bad luck buried tracks that should have dominated radio for years. These are 10 80s songs that deserved far more than history gave them. Number 10. Obsession by Animotion.
You are an obsession. You're my obsession. Who do you want me?
Pulsating synthesizers, a brooding vocal trade-off between Astrid Plain and Bill Wadhams, and one of the most hypnotic hooks of the entire decade. Obsession hit number 6 on the Billboard Hot 100 in the spring of 1985, a genuinely strong chart position for a band nobody had ever heard of. The song had everything required for a lasting career: a signature sound, undeniable chemistry, and a production style that sat perfectly alongside the decade's biggest synth-pop acts. What happened next is one of the great frustrations of 80s pop history. Animotion released follow-up material, including Strange Behavior in 1986, but the momentum never held. By the late 80s, they had effectively vanished from mainstream consciousness. Obsession remained their one defining moment, a song that deserved to launch a decade-long career, but instead became a footnote. Number 9. Voices Carry by Till Tuesday. At just 24 years old, Amy Mann delivered one of the most emotionally sophisticated vocal performances of 1985 on a song that rivaled anything on pop radio that year. Voices Carry peaked at number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100, earned an MTV Video Music Award for Best New Artist in a Video, and received glowing critical notices across the board. The music video, with its storyline set in Carnegie Hall, was genuinely cinematic and arresting. Despite all of that, Till Tuesday never achieved the mainstream breakthrough the song promised. Epic Records gave the band limited promotional support for subsequent albums, and Welcome Home in 1986 failed to replicate the momentum. Amy Mann eventually dissolved the band and pursued a solo career that kept her firmly in the cult category for years. It took Paul Thomas Anderson's film Magnolia in 1999 to finally give her the wider recognition she had earned 14 years earlier. Number 8. Love My Way by the Psychedelic Furs. In 1982, few songs captured the dreamy, melancholic atmosphere of the early New Wave era quite like this one. Produced by Todd Rundgren at his Utopia studio in Woodstock, Love My Way had a shimmering guitar texture and a Richard Butler vocal performance that were completely unlike anything else on radio at the time. British music press adored it. American audiences, however, largely ignored it. The song stalled at number 44 on the Billboard Hot 100, a genuinely baffling result for a track with that level of craft and originality. Columbia Records in the United States provided minimal promotional backing, and without MTV rotation pushing it, the song simply never found its audience stateside. The Psychedelic Furs spent the rest of the decade releasing consistently strong material, including Pretty, In Pink and Heaven, but they never crossed over into the mainstream success their songwriting clearly warranted. Number 7. Things Can Only Get Better by Howard Jones. Entirely self-taught on synthesizers, Howard Jones arrived with a musical philosophy as distinctive as his sound. By 1985, he had already scored major UK hits with New Song, which reached number 3, and What Is Love, which hit number 2 in Britain. Things Can Only Get Better seemed positioned to finally crack America in a serious way, reaching number 6 on the UK singles chart in early 1985. And in America, it did far better than many remember. It reached number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100, a genuine top 5 placing for one of Britain's most promising new acts. Elektra Records had signed Jones with genuine enthusiasm, yet the promotional push never quite translated into the sustained mainstream American breakthrough this song deserved. Howard Jones remained a beloved figure among dedicated fans on both sides of the Atlantic, But this song has never received full credit for how high it actually climbed. Before we continue, which of these songs had you completely forgotten about until just now? Did you catch any of these on the radio back in the day? Or did they pass you by entirely? Drop a comment and let us know where you are watching from. Number 6. Tenderness by General Public.
Seems like without tenderness, there's something missing.
Dave Wakeling and Ranking Roger had already helped build one of the most respected bands of the British two-tone movement in the English beat before forming General Public in Birmingham in 1983. When Tenderness arrived in the autumn of 1984, it carried all the soulful charisma and musical intelligence those two men had been developing for years. IRS Records secured its strong college radio and MTV play, and it climbed to number 27 on the Billboard Hot 100. It should have gone much further. The combination of ska-inflected rhythms, genuine soul singing, and a chorus that lodged itself permanently in memory was precisely the formula that made other acts massive stars in 1984. But IRS was a mid-sized independent label without the promotional muscle of a major, and Tenderness reached its ceiling far below where it deserved to land. General Public released 2 albums before dissolving, leaving behind a catalog that remains quietly extraordinary. Number 5. Living in a Box by Living in a Box. In Sheffield, England, in early 1987, 3 young musicians named Richard Derbyshire, Marcus Vere, and Anthony Critchlow released a debut single that promptly went to number 5 on the UK singles chart. Living in a Box was a tightly wound, horn-driven piece of blue-eyed soul with a vocal performance from Derbyshire that genuinely stopped people in their tracks. In Britain, the band was immediately regarded as one of the most promising new acts of the year. Then came America. Chrysalis Records handled the US release, but the promotional campaign was thin, and the song peaked at number 17 on the Billboard Hot 100, respectable on paper but well below what the song's energy and craft deserved. Living in a Box had exactly 1 shot at international stardom, and without proper backing on the American side of the Atlantic, that shot was wasted. Number 4. Promises, Promises by Naked Eyes. EMI signed Pete Byrne and Rob Fisher in 1982 with genuine confidence in their commercial potential. Their debut single, Always Something There to Remind Me, a cover of the Burt Bacharach and Hal David classic, demonstrated that confidence immediately, reaching number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100. The follow-up, Promises, Promises, climbed to number 11 in the spring of 1983. Tony Mansfield's crisp production gave both records a sound that sat comfortably alongside the work of Duran Duran and the Human League. What the duo never received was a sustained promotional push to build on that momentum. By 1985, the band had been dropped, and Naked Eyes dissolved without ever releasing a 3rd album. Rob Fisher later joined Clemmy Fisher and found modest success. But the potential of Naked Eyes, evident in every bar of both those early singles, was never fully realized. Number 3. Cruel Summer by Bananarama. London Records released this single in the summer of 1983 in the UK. Produced by Steve Jolly and Tony Swain, the same team behind Spandau Ballet's biggest hits, Cruel Summer had a churning, propulsive synthesizer arrangement and a vocal hook that was completely impossible to shake. Sarah Dallin, Karen Woodward, and Siobhan Fahey were at the commercial peak of their powers. The song reached number 8 in the United Kingdom and was pushed heavily on American FM radio through the summer of 1984, reaching number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100. Solid numbers, but not the dominant chart position this song deserved. The proof of what it should have been came decades later, when Taylor Swift featured it on her Lover album in 2019, and it eventually spent weeks at number 1 on the Hot 100. That delayed triumph was the music industry finally admitting what it should have recognized in 1984. Bananarama had written a genuine classic, and the original release never gave it its due. Number 2, Twilight Zone by Golden Earring. That pulsing, sparse opening is immediately recognizable, and in 1982, it hooked listeners from the first note. Twilight Zone by the Dutch rock band Golden Earring was unlike virtually anything on mainstream radio that year. A slow-burning, cinematic thriller of a song that ran close to 8 minutes in its full album version and told a Cold War espionage story with genuine menace and atmosphere. The shortened single version reached number 10 on the Billboard Hot 100 in early 1983. Despite heavy MTV rotation and strong rock radio support, the song did not translate into lasting American mainstream success for a band that had actually been recording since 1961. Golden Earring remained enormously popular in the Netherlands and respected across Europe, but Twilight Zone represented their one serious moment of American commercial traction. The song deserved to make them international stars. It almost did. Number 1, Vienna by Ultravox. Chrysalis Records released it in January 1981, and almost immediately it became clear that something genuinely extraordinary had arrived. Vienna was a sweeping piece of orchestrated synthesizer drama produced by Connie Plank, the German producer behind records by Kraftwerk and Devo. It was melancholic, cinematic, and unlike anything the British charts had encountered. Every serious music publication treated it as a landmark recording. It reached number 2 in the United Kingdom, where it spent 4 consecutive weeks, blocked first by Joe Dolce's Shut Up You Face for 3 of those weeks, and then for a 4th week by John Lennon's Woman. In America, the song barely registered. Decades later, Vienna appears on virtually every list of the greatest songs of the 1980s. The charts of 1981 simply were not ready for it.